I have always been a huge fan of the big man matchup in the NBA. Growing up during the 90s, I loved watching matchups such as David Robinson versus Shaq, David Robinson versus Patrick Ewing, or Hakeem Olajuwon versus Shaq, or Shaq versus Ewing. Just the list goes on and on. Those matchups were always fun and exciting. In some cases, it was the older veteran taking advantage of the young, up and coming big men. So we had those moments, and then once I hit my teenage years and my young adult years, the matchups were then just Duncan versus Garnett, Duncan versus Amari, just Garnett versus Rashid, just Duncan versus McDyess. Those matches were always fun, really, and so they were entertaining because all those guys brought it. It was fun to watch. They were all competitive. They always wanted to get the better of each other. So that to me was always special to watch. Very exciting most of the time how these matchups turned out. But last night, just going to that game, it seemed like this was going to be a promising matchup with Victor versus Giannis because last year I think both of them had a great duel where I think they both got 30 points apiece on each other. It was very fun, very entertaining. I thought in last night's game we were going to see a continuation of that it was going to be an awesome duel. And it started off with some promise just in the first quarter when Victor drove baseline and did this incredible Jordan-like layup on Giannis. It was an awesome layup to watch, just incredible hang time. And I was thinking, all right, this is going to be a hyped up matchup. It's going to live up to the hype. But then it started to fall apart throughout the game. Just the Spurs got behind after the second quarter. After a close first quarter, the Bucks blew it open the second, and I think at one point in time they were up by 20. Spurs, a few times in the game, they were able to cut down the lead to 10, but they never really could get over that hump. But when it came to this matchup with Giannis and Victor, it's just that Giannis punked him. It was a moment where it was like the veteran was showing the young guy, you reach, I teach, and I'm still the top dog, and you haven't overtaken me yet. I still run this type of town. So that's what it felt like. Just it was a struggle for Victor throughout that game to score and to play defense on Giannis. That on the offensive end, when Victor would try to score on Giannis because Giannis was guarding it for most of the game, Giannis was just like muscling him, and Victor could not get through him. On one possession, Giannis forced him into a difficult jump shot, in which he blocked because he had the strength to go right through him. And Victor struggled to get positioning in the paint against Giannis. He just couldn't do that. And on top of that, just even on the perimeter, where Victor has his biggest strength because he can shoot over guys on the perimeter and easily create his own shot, Giannis was able to stay in front of him and to physically push him around in the perimeter area, so he felt his shot was rushed then in those situations. Just by his swarming defense, his quick athleticism and size, he could even bother him on the perimeter, which very few guys in this league can do. But Giannis is one of the few that have the size and the athleticism to just bother him right around the perimeter area. So Victor's strengths were all taken away from him on the offensive end last night by Giannis, and Giannis took it personal. You could tell that he was playing with a lot of pride and motivation just to send Victor a message. Victor also struggled defensively. There was this one moment where Giannis was posting him up in the paint, and just he went right through Victor's chest. It was not an offensive foul, and Victor like flew like a foot away. Just that showed you how much stronger Giannis was. He posted him up and he scored after that. What that tells me is that Victor still has to get somewhat stronger. I know he said that he doesn't want to be built like a truck because he feels that will cause injuries, especially on his knees, by carrying so much weight for his height, which I do understand the concern, but there has to be a little bit more strength because that's now a weakness that certain guys will be able to exploit in this league. Not many, but certain guys can just like muscle him and take advantage of his lack of strength. So I think he definitely has to get stronger. Giannis exposed how that can be used against him on both ends in this game. I don't know what will be the perfect weight for him. I'm estimating, 260 to maybe 270 pounds of muscle, just in that range. Maybe if he wants to be really light, just 260 pounds, but he really needs to put on like at least 20 or 20, 30 more pounds of muscle in my eyes. I think he has to do that. Otherwise, this will be like the MO on him, and other teams will try to employ that strategy. Not many teams can do that, do what Giannis did, but certain teams will find the ways to do it. And especially in the future, if Spurs ever become a playoff team, there'll be certain teams in the playoffs that'll have that size or will build a roster like that to give him problems. So that's something he should address now while he can still address it before it becomes a major problem in the future. So that's one thing I just wanted to point out.